Hello there. Today we're going to learn something. It's the new ConcatAdapter. It's very useful for building apps, for building recycler views that can have expandable items. For example, like in this application. So you can expand these items and you can also collapse them. So I'm going to show you how this could be done. First of all, I would like to tell you that this ConcatAdapter was made available in the 1.20 alpha release of the RecyclerView, but we're going to use the newest version, the beta 0.1. It was released in December of 2020. This is the ConcatAdapter. Here on Google Developer you have some documentation about this class. So how are we going to make this thing happen? ConcatAdapter is nothing but it takes one adapter and links another adapter to it, and links another adapter to it, and another one, and another one. So pretty much this is one adapter, this is the second adapter, this is the third adapter. You can expand this adapter. This is still only one adapter. This is the second linked adapter, the third linked adapter. So the first thing we're going to do is create a new project. So I'm going to call it Expandable YouTube. I'm going to save it in my Expandable YouTube. Click Finish and wait for this thing to create. So first thing we need to do to create this, okay, I'm going to do it all in one package. I'm not going to do some fancy package creating. So first thing we're going to do is create a grouped item. This grouped item will have two parameters in the constructor. One of them is going to be called header, of type header, and the second is going to be called item list, of type list of item. The first class we're going to create here, a nested class, is going to be called header, and this header class will have some parameters in the constructor, and the second one is item, and is going to take some input here. So mainly I want to keep this very easy. I'm going to make them take only one parameter, and it's going to be header text of type string. It's going to be item text of type string. Okay, maybe the first thing that I should have done is added the recycler view. So let's first delete this. You're going to have to first go into Gradle and import the recycler view. So if we look at this page, we need the recycler view 1.2 beta. So first thing is first, we have to import that. So we're going to do it here. So Android X recycler view, column recycler view 1.2.0 beta beta 1. After that is completed, we're going to go here in the activity main layout and import, actually put it here. I'm going to constrain it to each side, and I'm going to give it an ID. Just give it the name of recycler view. Maybe I should immediately start on doing these little layouts. As you can see, we can go first to this layout file, and I'm going to create a folder called a XML layout called Expandable Header. So as we can see, this expandable header is just a text, is just one text view, a little bit bigger text view. So what we're going to do is go here into the design and add a text view. Then we're going to constrain it to each side, even the bottom. I'm going to give it 16 dp margin all around, give it match constraint, and then I'm going to give this height a wrap content, so it's just this little piece. The second thing I'm going to do is put here tools, just so I can, so what this tools do, this will be only represented here on our design. When we run the app, this is going to be blank. Next thing I'm going to do is give it a appearance of large, just so it stands out because it's a header. And a very important thing, I'm going to change its name. Header, header, text view. And that's about it for it. The next thing we're going to create is a expandable item. As we can see, the item is also just a text view, just a little bit smaller. So what I'm going to do is add a text view, give it a constraint all around of 16. Match its constraint, so with, again, tools, item, and appearance, I'm going to give it small. So style, text appearance, app compact, small. And then again, wrap content, so it's just this little piece. Now we have these two layouts. When we, if we now return to the grouped item, we can now see why we have added here header text and item text. It's just these two texts here and here. But these layouts can be more complex, and these classes could be more complex. Now, the most important part is the adapter. Expandable adapter. So our expandable adapter will have one parameter in the constructor. It's going to be a grouped item, and it's going to inherit RecyclerView, import adapter, and we're going to import and give it here Expandable Adapter Viewholder, and I'm going to create here a sealed class Viewholder that is going to take a parameter of type view, import view, and it's going to inherit from Viewholder item view, and we're going to call here the constructor, and I have to implement some of these methods. So to put it into perspective, again, what I told is this here, so this here is one adapter, this here is one adapter, this here is one adapter. Together we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 adapters. So we got 5 adapters. That's why we have a header and an item, actually a list of items, header and a list of items. So there are some methods that we have to implement, but first of all, let's just write them. Okay, on create Viewholder, very important. On bind view holder, again important. Get item count, very important. View type, get item view type. And one more thing to add. As we can see, we got two view holders. One of them is a header view holder. The other one is a item view holder. So we're going to have to specify it here. Item view, oh, actually I forgot here, class, view holder, and make sure you take this view holder, so from the Expandable Adapter, and feed it with the item view. So this view holder is going to have one private val, header text view, item view. We're going to find it now. RID, header text view. Okay, the second one is going to be item view holder, item view. So it expands this. Okay, I think I didn't name it. Item text view. And paste it here. So we have these two view holders. So the header is this big one, header, and the item is the smaller one. So the first thing we're going to do is our header view holder is going to have two states. A state where it is expanded, a state where it is collapsed. Where it is collapsed. But let's just, let's maybe just hold on with these view types. How are we going to know which view type to take? So pretty much, first, let's say a companion object. Const val, so we know which one to return. Const val view type header is equal to a 0. Const val view type is equal to a item is equal to a 1. So what I'm going to do is pretty much, let's just focus on looking at this one. If the position is 0, that's going to be a view type header. If the position is anything but 0, it's going to be a view type of type item. So we're going to look at this if it's just one adapter. So just look at this one adapter. And that's what we're going to write. If position is equal to a 0, we're going to return a view type header. And else, we're going to return a view type, and actually let's lift this out of here. Let me just format this a little bit. So that's how we're going to get our view types. But let's say let's stick with the get item count. How we're going to calculate this? So if you look at this adapter, it's going to have either one of two values. Either is going to be it has only one position, it's the header, or it's going to have the item size 1, 2, 3, 4 in this case plus the header. So it's going to be we're going to say is expanded. We don't have this variable, by the way, yet. So if it is expanded, then we're going to return grouped item, item list, size, and plus that one header, and in this case we're just going to return the one. Let's lift this out. The one, and that's the header. So if it is not expanded, it just has the header, and that's only one position. We're going to have something else. We're going to have a variable called vol. Vol is expanded, and it is going to be of type boolean, and initially we're going to set it to false. So initially we don't want it to be expanded. We don't want it to be expanded. Now we're going to create the view holders, and the view holder is going to depend on the view type. So we're going to say when, actually we could even say return when. So we're going to say return when we have view, actually we're going to say view type here. When the view type is of type header, we're going to do this. Else, we're going to do this. And pretty much else is everything else. One more thing, I would like to create a layout inflator, right? Sorry. Layout inflator. Layout inflator we create by saying from and then parent and get the parent's context. What we're going to do here is we have to say return. And we're going to have to create a view holder of type header view holder. What does it take? It takes a item view of type view. We're going to inflate this view by saying layout inflator, inflate r.layout. We're going to need a header, expandable header. The next parameter is going to be a parent and false. Don't attach to the root. Okay, I'm going to leave it like this, and that's what we're going to return. And in else, so the else could only be the item view holder. We're going to return this one again. We're going to return the view holder, the item view holder. And yeah, because we have written this, we don't need this, and I'm just going to format this by pressing Ctrl-Alt-L. Okay. Now we're going to call the onBind. The onBind is going to be really easy. When is when what the holder is of type view holder, type header, do this. And when is of type item view holder, do this. So what are we going to do in this case, and what are we going to do in this case? So what I'm going to do is create in both of these classes a function called onBind. And in this one, onBind. So to bind this value, you're going to need a header of type grouped item header. And you're going to need an item here of type grouped item item. The next thing we're going to do is just in this onBind view holder, we're going to call it. And what are we going to call? We're going to call grouped item dot header, and that's all we need. In here, we're going to call on bind, so there's an error. We're gonna call the next thing. We got the item list, but it's not like usually we're gonna say position. The problem is our item list has 0, 1, 2, 3. Our item list is of size 3. It has index 0, 1, 2, and 3. But the positions that the adapter has is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we call this, it's first going to be incorrect. The second, we're going to get an index out of bound exception. This is because we have 4 positions. At some point, it's going to get the fourth position. An item list of 4 positions is 0, 1, 2, 3, and there's no fourth. And then you're going to get an exception. What we have to do is minus that header. So 0 is never going to get here, because if you get 0, 0 is going to be of type header view holder, and it's always going to go here. 1 is going to go here, and it's going to be 1 minus 1, and it's going to access the first item. And that's about it for the onBind view holder. Now what's only left is to render stuff here, and that's really easy. We're going to say header text view holder dot text is equal to header. Item text view text is equal to item dot actually here I'm going to say item header. Did I leave it as a oops, one little error there I made. It's just like, it's not a member, now it's a member of the class. Okay. There's one little thing we have to do here in this adapter, and it's this one. Item view on click set on click listener. So that click listener is actually this thing. It's actually the thing that flips this is expanded from false to true and from true to false. But this here variable isn't accessible in this class. If you're writing Java and using a static class, it's going to be accessible, but here in Kotlin it isn't. So what I'm going to write is here a private function on header clicked, actually not this, and I'm going to use here autocomplete, and I'm going to say view on click listener, and then I'm going to just implement the method here. I'm just going to say here view, and what are we going to do on the onClick? So is expanded is going to change its value. We're just pretty much toggling it, so whatever the value is, just say not, and it's gonna, you have to put here var, so it's mutable. The next thing we're going to do is we have to notify that the layout has changed. So we're going to say if it's expanded, we're going to notify item range inserted. So we inserted something from the position 1 till the position group item list dot size, and we have to notify item changed at position 0. Else if it's false, it's not expanded, then we have item range removed position 1 grouped items and then size. So from the position 1 to this position everything has been removed, and again notify item changed at position 0. here, because there's just this way we can get it down. Here we can use it as a parameter. We're going to say on click listener of type view on click listener, and here on bind is going to tell me an error. So I'm going to say on header click listener, I'm going to call it. This is just going to create a listener, and what we're going to do here is just call on click, and this on click will just execute this. The reason why I haven't done this here, if you're asking yourself, why have I done this, is expanded. You cannot it isn't visible here. It isn't visible here. The second option you could have done is just put here is expanded and then implement it here, but I chose this way. Now, the next thing I'm going to do for reason, because this is just a small tutorial, I'm going to copy some code. I'm just going to copy some code just to create some data. Create group item list. This is just some kind of a data, so we can just see what we have created. So what is it going to do? We're going to give it a header number, how many headers we want, and it's going to create a list of grouped items. It's going to go from 0 till header number. So if you say I want 4 headers, we're going to have 4 headers, and that's the job here. What's the job here? This job here is of creating items. So creating these here. What is it going to do? We have an array here. It's going to create a random number from 2 to 5, and we're just going to add these items here. We're adding really easy. We're just going to say header of 0, header of 1, header of 3, item of 0, item of 1, item of 3. And when we have created this array and this header, we're going to create one grouped item and put it into the list. And then we're going to create another header, another list of items, put it here. Another header, another list of items, put it here. And when we're finally finished, we have to go here into main activity. What we're going to do is say here, grouped item list is equal to repository, create grouped item, and we're going to say, okay, I want 5 headers. That's the first thing we're going to do. The second thing we're going to do, actually I'm going to put it here. We need an array list. Array list of what? Of expandable arrays, expandable adapters. So we have an array list of expandable adapters. We have to put these adapters inside. So what are we going to do? This here is just an array of adapters in a ConcatAdapter. They have been linked together. This is one of them. This is the second. So how we're going to do it is we're going to say for group item in grouped item list. We're going to say vol adapter is equal to expandable adapter, and create it. We're going to create it by giving it this group adapter. This group adapter will have a header that's called header 0, and will have most likely item 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe 5. And what we're going to do is add that adapter to this list, and it's going to create maybe 5 of these adapters. The next thing we have to do is create a configuration, ConcatAdapter configuration. ConcatAdapter. I'm going to import it. Config builder set isolated view types false and build. Then we're going to create a ConcatAdapter. Say ConcatAdapter, ConcatAdapter, config adapter. Actually, adapter list, and then I'm going to say one thing we didn't take is RecyclerView is equal to find view by ID, RecyclerView ID, RecyclerView. And we're gonna say we need a linear, a layout manager. Linear. Okay, this layout manager thing you need it for every recycler view. So this is typical stuff. And this isn't typical. We're going to usually we would initialize this with a normal adapter, but now we're going to initialize it with a ConcatAdapter, and then we're going to run this. I think I've done all of it. Okay, let's see what it will run. Okay, it has finished, and it has created this expandable, expandable RecyclerView. It seems really good. I've tested some stuff. Seems pretty stable. I'm going to put here like 20 just to see how stable it is, how smooth it is when it actually not this one. This one is just okay. Here's the 20 of them, just to see how good this is. Now what I have noticed is that this expandable RecyclerView doesn't work well with RecyclerView dividers. So these, when you have lines behind beneath every item, but it's still in beta. I mean, it looks pretty smooth to me. So this is a tutorial of how you can use the ConcatAdapter to create a expandable RecyclerView. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, and if it did help you, can you please leave a like, maybe even subscribe. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.